super glue all this in later. For now, we'll do it the high-tech way for now. There we go. 1, 2, 3 more to go. And we'll have that base all set up. I'm not sure if I showed, but there's the infrared right there. So that's working out. And then this is the DC power input right here. So I think it's going to come out nice.
Guys, moving right along. Let me show you where we're at now. Well, we can do it like this. I talked to the better half. I've got the shells all mounted now up in there. And we were letting her know that I'm going to have the electronics underneath here. And I was going to make that plastic cover, which I went and it messed up my last one when I tried to do it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to change. So what I did is I took some little buttons and I'm going to put these underneath here. Hope they can see that. And they're going to be little feet like that'll keep it about, well, maybe a quarter of an inch above the where it sets. That'll give me some airflow, but yet it won't be too much where dust will be able to get up underneath there very easily. So just a little bit of a raise for airflow for the electronics, even though it doesn't get very hot, but I'd feel more comfortable with it that way. So that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to go ahead and drill a little 3/8 inch hole down on the bottom with a Forstner bit, glue these puppies in. So, man, we're getting closer. Once I get those feet in, then I need to put a slot in here about 9 inches long with a hole that'll go through the bottom and route out my wire connection for the wiring to the LEDs. So the LEDs are a lot wider than the plexiglass, so I'm going to have to make a little wooden frame around the plexiglass to make the light more ambient than I'm looking for. So I'll show you that when I get there, and I think when it's all done, it'll be good. I got some 1/4 inch plywood for the back. I've got to cut my glass for the front yet. So there's a little bit more to go, but thanks for watching. Alright, really cold. I'm going to cut in a area for the LEDs to fit in here. So I kind of messed up and wasn't really being, since I'm building. I put all this together before I probably should have waited, but that's okay. It won't be in my way. We're going to go ahead and put this groove into here. And are you going to be able to see? I'm not sure. My camera's in a bad position here, but I've got my blue tape against the fence like normal with my lines outlining where the bit's going to be cutting and mark my board. So we'll do a plunge and we'll come across to the other line and start putting in our groove. You've seen that before. I'm just going to show you what we're doing. So, and my zero clearance, as you can see, we're using that. So it's working out. But I have noticed I'm losing a little bit of integrity here with this MDF. So I am going to recut this. The idea works, the proof of concept works, but just FYI, MDF isn't the strongest for doing that dovetail. So I'm going to take some plywood, 1/2 inch plywood, Baltic birch, and cut one out. And then I'm going to maybe laminate it. So I'll show you that another time. Thanks for watching. If I would have planned my project, I could have probably done everything on the Shopsmith, but because I'm designing as I go on this, I ended up having to use my palm router. I've got to route out a channel for my wiring underneath the bottom of the base plate to fit on. So here's what I've come up with to make this run. I'm just going to make a straight part cut right into here, and just using my little palm router with a little guide on the end that should help me get this nice and straight and cut in. Well, good afternoon, YouTube. Okay, got the electronics done. Got the little feet on, so it's a little proud. We're going to resaw a piece of walnut to fill this over, but for now I just got it kind of taped up like that so it sits, but it fits in here really nice. The feet fit on and it's perfectly flat. Remote control. So turn it on. Yay. Let's see, let's go blue, green, red. All kinds of colors. So it works. I'm happy. That was the hard part. Head back. Alright, so now we're getting ready. We're going to put the back on. So I've got to cut a slot back here for a piece of plywood to fit in. So it'll be a rabbet. And I could use the router, which takes a little bit of setup, but what I've decided is I'm going to go ahead and just use a dado blade that I've got. This is a cheapo Skill 6-inch dado blade that I bought at the big box store. It works. It's not the best. It's not really good and flat on the bottom, but I'm just going to do a dado, or not a dado, but a rabbet that's just under 1/4 of an inch, because I got some 1/4 inch plywood. So I'm going to use the dado blade to go ahead and cut that into my pieces. So the first thing I did, I went through and I marked, put an F for the front, which is the side that I want to be facing, so that I know that I'm going to cut the right piece. And then I've got a piece of scrap vinyl that I did, and some toilet bowl toilet mounting screws. I forget what they're called. They're like T-screws or something like that. Anyway, I've got those, and I cut in a little indent here so they're smooth. Alright, so we took all the chippers out because we're not going to use them, and we're just going to have the two blades here, because the plywood is just a little bit less than 1/4 inch. I think it's like 13/64 or so. This is a really important piece. You don't ever want to lose that thing. So it's got to go in like so. We'll put this all together. On my sacrificial fence, by the way, these bolts are 1/4 by 20. So I've got in the back here, I'll pull this off. This makes it really easy. I got these up at Lowe's to be able to tighten it down so you get it good and snug against the fence so that it's square. So we're getting closer. Okay, so here's my setup tools here. 1/4 inch is what I'm going to go for my depth. And then I went ahead and made a couple test cuts on a piece of scrap in order to get this side right. That's 13/64, so just I kind of held my piece of plywood up against it until I got it really good and flush. It takes a while to set it up and get it right, but after that I always try to do it on scrap before I went ahead and did my walnut. So we're going to go ahead and put the rabbets onto our walnut.